Welcome back to Pickleball Journey. So I've been playing a lot of golf this summer, and I've been playing with my brother-in-law who's been beating me, which is frustrating. But I still beat him in pickleball. He started playing pickleball a few years ago. He didn't come from a tennis background, but he's been playing a lot and he's really improved. He's probably in that 5-0 range now, and he was maybe a 3-5 when he started. One thing that he lacks is his backhand drive. So today we're going to talk about what you can do to improve your backhand drive. Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to talk about the two-hander and the one-handed backhand. Elisha will get into the one-hander. I'll talk about the two-hander, the grip, how you should hold it, the technique, and then a drill that you can use to practice it. So first, let's talk about the grip. Now, people commonly think, and they see me hit a backhand and ask, how do I hold the backhand? They often think that I have my hands stacked, but in reality, what I do, and what I mean by stacked is one here and one here, but I actually overlap my hands. So I take continental grip with the right hand, almost as if you're hammering it down flat, and then the left hand, if I take my paddle, I hold it flat like this, as if I'm hitting it down this way. So I've got my right hand here, and then the left hand is actually just overlapping my right hand. So this feels comfortable to me. There's different ways you can hold it. Find what feels comfortable for you. But these are a couple different ways that you can hold the backhand grip. All right, so now I want to talk about the technique of the backhand. So there are a few fundamental things we want to focus on when we're hitting the backhand. Number one, that ball's coming to you, you want to get a turn. So if you're righty, you're stepping in with your right foot, you're getting that shoulder turn sideways, and it's tilted down. You're going to tilt this down. This would be straight up. I'm tilting it down. This is going to give me leverage to rotate through the ball, and it's going to give me power. So again, stepping in with the right foot, paddle comes back, bicep goes into my chest here, I'm all the way back, and I'm striking the ball at pretty much parallel here, maybe a little bit out in front, and then I'm finishing all the way through up top to where my left bicep is almost hitting my chin. So again, take it back, contact, finish all the way through. As I'm finishing, I don't want to just stop here because my momentum's moving forward. I want to let my left foot swing around. So stepping in, hit, come through, swing that left foot around. This is going to give you good power and good control on your backhand. So a common misunderstanding is that the right hand does most of the work with the backhand. That's actually wrong. It's typically your left hand that is doing all the work. So you're using your left hand to really do the work, almost a left-handed forehand, and the right hand is on the paddle just to be a guide. So one drill you can do to practice your backhand, your two-handed backhand, is just hitting left-handed forehands, getting the feel of swinging it through. Then when you add that right hand on there, you're going to feel so much more stability and control, but you're doing the proper swing because your left hand is doing most of the work. This video is sponsored by Carbon, but more on that later.
All right, we're gonna go over the same things as Justin did for the two-handed backhand, but now it's gonna be for the one-handed backhand. So we're gonna go over the grip, we're gonna go over the technique, and we're gonna go over a drill that you can do to benefit that one-handed backhand. First off is the grip. For me, I use the same grip as I would for my forehand. So it's going to be an Eastern grip. So if you go to a continental grip, okay, it's going to be one basically side over from that. So if you took the center of the paddle, you would line up your first knuckle with the center of the paddle. So that's what I use for my one-handed backhand. So it feels kind of extreme, but I like to keep the same grip for all my shots because it enables me to not have to shift the paddle in my hands. So it took a little bit of getting used to, but now I got calibrated in, especially with the angle of the paddle. Some people use continental grip, and then some people actually go as far as putting that first knuckle along the side here to contact it like this. That's what you would generally see with a tennis forehand or tennis one-handed backhand. So you can use any one of those, but I would recommend whatever you use, that you use it for your forehand as well, so you don't have to shift back and forth. All right, so for the technique, very similar to Justin's in the sense that make sure you get a unit turn. So a unit turn is basically going from your ready position and just turning your shoulders. You're not bringing your arms back, you're turning your shoulders. That automatically sets the paddle back. You want the paddle up high and not down low necessarily. You want it where you were in your ready position, so you're turning, it's nice and high. You get your feet in position, okay, then we drop the paddle to the level of the ball. We move forward, we strike the ball in the position in front of us, and making sure that paddle is square like we did before. Now, if the ball is a little bit lower, we're gonna open the paddle face a little bit, and if it's higher, we're gonna close the paddle face a little bit. So it's basically where you're contacting the ball. But generally, that ball rises to a certain level every time around our waist. We wanna keep that paddle face pretty square when we strike the ball. Once we strike that ball, we're gonna extend our wrist up, and then we're gonna finish nice and high above the shoulder and even above the head sometimes. So making sure we're getting that unit turn, we're turning the hips, the shoulders to contact, and then we're finishing nice and high above the head. All right, so a drill that you can do to really help that backhand is make sure you go through the progression of what you would do for any shot. First is getting it consistent. So have a person feed, or if you have a ball machine, have the ball machine feed to you and just try to get it in the court, okay? Get consistent, just getting it in. Second thing is placement. Go ahead and set up 3 cones, one in the middle of one color, one that's a little bit to the right, and one that's cross court. Then start to try to place the ball. You go down the line, you go middle, then you go cross court to be able to place it. The last thing is power. Then you add in that power once you got that consistency and placement. You start to hit the ball a little bit harder. Once you get a little inconsistent, you start the cycle all over again. Consistency, placement, power.
Before you go, be sure to check out Carbon Pickleball and use code PBJourney10 for 10% off any paddle or Carbon Pickleball gear.